Good evening, everyone. Tonight, I want to talk to you about a very important event that happened in my life. At the young age of 26 years old, I had my knees replaced. The reason I'm speaking to you about these events is because today, June 16th, marks 5.5 years since I had my left knee replaced. Now, I know having knee replacements is something you hear about from people who are a little bit older than I am. But the reason I want to talk to you about this is because I want to take you all through the journey of one of the hardest and most nerve-wracking times of my life. Now, to start out, I had my knee replacement surgeries done only 6 weeks apart from each other. My first knee replacement surgery was my right knee, October 28th of 2013, and I had my left knee replaced December 16th of 2013. Now, in order to get to those two dates, let's journey back to the beginning to see how all of this unfolds. Now, my first knee surgery and knee injury was all the way back in September of 1996, when I unfortunately was only 9 years old. I fell on a wrought iron fence out at the fairgrounds and tore a chunk of cartilage out of my right knee. And that was tough for a 9-year-old to deal with. Wound up having surgery November of 96, later that year. Thought everything was fine after that, no problems. Well, I wound up having a second knee injury in August of 98 when I was 11. In fact, it was the Friday before I was starting 6th grade. I was playing kickball at a summer care, under supervision of a summer care company, and tore most of the cartilage out of my left knee. In fact, when I wound up having the surgery back in November of 1998, I pretty much did not have any sort of cartilage whatsoever in my knee at the time. Fast forward to December 01, had another surgery. September 03, another surgery. Had one December of 2003, where I had my legs were kind of growing outward. So I had titanium plates and screws put into my leg to straighten them out. The one December 2003 was done on my left leg. I had one done June of 2004 that was on my right leg. I thought everything was great at that point. Fast forward to October of 2005, when I wound up developing a staph infection in my right leg. It was my first year in college, and that was a very challenging time for me. I was extremely nervous about having this infection that could have potentially been deadly in my leg, or inside my body in general. Had the surgery, very quickly after going to the doctor about it, I wound up having to have I wound up having the staph infection redevelop in my right leg in October of 2006, 1 year later. Subsequently, I had the plates and screws that were in my right leg removed. Have not had any problems with an infection since. Fast forward to June of '08, I had the plates and screws removed from my left leg, and I actually still have the hardware in a bag in my office, actually. So I had a couple surgeries after that where they were just, it was like cleaning up debris and damage and all like that. So now I want to kind of briefly talk to you about the events leading up to my replacement surgeries. I was working in construction and remodeling in February of 2013 when I felt a pop in my right knee, and an immense amount of pain afterwards. Had to have an x-ray on it. Well, the x-ray showed a bone spur that was in my right knee. Had to step away from construction and remodeling. In August of 2013, I met with a knee replacement specialist here in Amarillo. Talked for several hours about the risks, the benefits, and the actions before and after the surgeries. By that time, I had been in so much pain that it only took an hour after meeting with the knee replacement specialist for me to okay having this done. And, October 2013, I'm 26 years old. I'm just now getting my footing as far as, doing what I love, being in construction and remodeling, being crushed because I had to step away from that. But that was a tough decision, but it was easy for me. September of 2013, I had x-rays and MRIs done on both legs from my hips to my feet to send to the medical company who built my knee replacements. And then October 2013, I was so nervous that day. I was happy, I was relieved, I was scared out of my mind about what was about to happen. This was something that was 17 years in the making. And I was the first surgery that day. Get back to pre-op pretty quickly, tried to relax. The anesthesiologist came in, gave me some medicine to relax. Also gave me an epidural on my lower back, which is done to numb the nerves from the waist down. And I was actually conscious during the surgery. I was kind of drifting in and out of sleep. And there was one time that I woke up and I remember hearing the surgeon tapping in the replacement to my leg. It was literally like almost like a knock on the door. And that's got to be the eeriest feeling I have ever had, knowing that I'm cut open, not feeling anything, but hearing everything that was going on. Drifted back off, woke up later, and later that evening, the nurse, per doctor's orders, had me get up out of my bed, walk to the doorway, and then walk back. less than 24 hours after I had a whole new knee, a brand new knee, I was up and walking. The next day, they got me up. I walked from the bed, out the door, down the hallway, and turned around, walked back to the bed. It's pretty impressive that medical technology nowadays, they have you up and walking the day, maybe the day or the next day after a knee replacement. And what helped me so much to prepare for my left knee replacement is to go through all this, the physical therapy, the nights where I couldn't sleep. So, fast forward to December 16th of 2013. I was ready for that day. I was mentally prepared for that day. Everything unfolded the exact same way, except for one thing. My doctor came in after the surgery, the day after, and told me that I had so much damage to my left leg that he had to, from the hip to the knee, had to reset each one of my quad muscles. And that is a really weird... It was a really weird feeling knowing that I knew how much damage I had in my knee, but once I didn't fully know, except for whenever I was cut open and the doctor actually got a chance to look inside my body. And even though I went through so much pain through the knee replacements, I got to tell you, the decision to have that done for me at an early age was the best decision I ever made. I'm not in nearly as much pain now as I was prior to my knee replacements. I'm a lot more active than when I was beforehand, and I am so much happier that I went ahead and made the decision to have them done instead of, I could have waited and the damage would have been even more extensive in my knees had I waited to have my knee replacements done instead of going ahead and having them done. And at 26 years old, that is a scary situation to be in. But overall, the decision that I made to have them done was probably, I would say, definitely the best decision I ever made as a human being. It was the easiest. Surprisingly enough, it was the easiest decision that I ever made. Challenging, but it was challenging for me to mentally prepare, but it was the easiest decision that I ever made. Just something that for y'all to ponder. I hope everybody has a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.